11 years ago, I weighed 140 kilograms, and it just kept going up. I was working in IT back then and lived a mostly sedentary lifestyle, so sedentary that I always took the elevator to the third floor. I could smoke 2 packs of cigarettes a day. Since then, I've lost 50 kilograms and run my first marathon. I go hiking in the mountains regularly. I'm not a professional athlete and I don't have any coaching credentials. I'm just an amateur who is constantly learning from his mistakes. Over the years, I've gained weight again, stopped all activities, and then returned to running again and again. I know what it's like when a little cloud stops you from going for a run. This is the first episode of my journey. A journey not just about weight loss, but about self-development and discipline. I remember my first run, about 400 meters on a track, after which I started gasping for air. I had a terrible stitch in my side. My main mistake was trying to run right away and run fast right away. Back then, even just leaving the house, I was already out of breath. My mistake was running right away and wanting to run fast right away. I wanted to run my first kilometer, but I couldn't. And often, that's exactly what stops people. And everyone thinks they're not made for running. My breakthrough was run walking. That's when you walk 100 meters, for example, and try to run 50 meters. And the main thing here is to control your breathing. There's a simple fact. When you run, you should be able to talk easily without gasping for air. And that's a sign that you're at the right pace. No need to chase distance or pace or look at how others run, because everyone has their own path. There's no shame in it. Each of us started somewhere. Once near the stadium, I saw some stairs and remembered that I used to do boxing, from which, by the way, I was kicked out because of my weight. We used to run up the stairs at the stadium. I started doing interval runs on the stairs and eventually just saw it as part of my workout. Now I realize that this is one of the best workouts to help with hiking in the mountains and trail running. Later, I realized that running is great for building endurance, which is so important in the mountains. What's more, running helps break mental barriers, and distances of 10, 20, 30, even 80 kilometers are no longer so scary because it's all in our heads. 6 years ago, a dog came into my life who unfortunately can't stay home alone. For me, this became a limitation. Not because it was actually a real limitation and I couldn't do things. It's because everyone always looks for excuses in their head for why they can't do something. At that time, at some point, I thought that was it for the mountains. I wouldn't be able to go anymore because I had to stay home with the dog. But instead of leaving her, I started taking her on runs. I started hiking in the mountains with her. And now we can run up to 10 kilometers together. She hikes up to 20 kilometers and more with me in the mountains. She's my best companion. By the way, her name is Silva. She's a standard Schnauzer. And in the next episodes, I'll definitely share details and routes. In future videos, I'll definitely share more details about my amateur journey and how I ran my first marathon, ran my first trail, about my first mountain hike, and I'll talk about how running changed my life in general. Subscribe so you don't miss the next video. The main thing is, if you don't feel like running because, say, there's a cloud or the moon is in the wrong phase, just get dressed, step out of the house and walk. Just walk. Maybe later you'll feel like running too.